Today we're taking a look at the 2023 VTM 31 by Hoyt Archery. Just a reminder guys, head on over to mikesarchery.com to pick up any of our latest logo gear. We got plenty of hats and shirts as well as any gear you might need for your next adventure. Welcome back to Mike's Archery's YouTube, and today we are taking a look at the new 2023 lineup by Hoyt, and we have got the new VTM 31. Hoyt's still being made in the USA right up there in Salt Lake City, kicking out some great products for this year. So let's take a look at the specs on the new VTM 31. So the speed rating on that bow is coming in at 342 feet per second. The axle to axle, obviously 31 inches, with an overall cam to cam length at 35 1/8. Now the brace height on this bow is at 6 inches even, with a reflex of 5. And then the advertised weight on this bow is coming in at 4.65 pounds. Now we threw it on the scale, and that includes the shorty stabilizer that comes on it from the factory, and we got 5.2 pounds out of the box. Now once we pulled that stabilizer and the dampeners and things off of it, we got it down to 4.8, coming in just a little bit over what the advertised weight is, but fairly close. Now they kept with the HBX Pro cam on this bow, and the draw length adjustability on the new 31 is going to go from 25 out to 30, covering that general range of most archers, topping out at 30 inches. So if you got a little longer draw, you're not going to be able to step into the 31. And with a short draw at 25 inches, that's going to get it down there to pretty much most any adult and a few kids. From there, the draw weight options on the VTM 31 are coming in with a 10-pound increment at 40, 50, 60-pound max, and then a 65 in the middle there. And you can also get it in 70-pound or 80-pound limbs. So you're going to be able to outfit pretty much any archer at any ability as far as the weight. And even if you're one of those guys that's wanting to step up to that extra heavy weight that we've been seeing, you're going to be able to get the VTM in an 80-pound model. The let-off is still going to be the same from last year. It's adjustable 80 or 85% on that rotating module with just the adjustment of the peg. Now, as we look at this new bow, there's only a handful of changes. Hoyt pretty well kept things pretty similar to what they've had in the past and very similar to last year's bow. So if you've looked at the Ventum 30, this obviously VTM 31 is going to be an inch longer in axle to axle. They kept with the same HBX Pro cam, so you're going to have the ability to use that number 2, number 3 mod swap system, so you can fit all the draw length options on one single base cam and just swap out the mods, making it nice and easy for your dealer. From there, they kept with their integrated system. You've got your integrated rest system. One of the things they did change there, they put a slot in the back of the riser. So some of the milling changes in this 31, it has got a extra slot in that bridge part of the riser that's going to allow you to run your QAD or whatever rest cable actually through the riser. It's one of those minor things, but it's something we've dealt with over the years setting up rests on a Hoyt. Because of the bridge riser and the way they build their risers, you had to run that cable either on the outside of that bridge riser, which could cause some friction there, and if you put it on the inside, it really caused some problems, could get mixed up in your rest or in your arrow flight. Putting this new slot in the back of the riser is going to give you the ability to take that bow and run that cable directly through there, hook it into your cables, giving a much cleaner look and a much better ease of setup with not having any issues of your rest cable getting in the way of your shot. From there, they kept with their Picatinny sight mount setup. So that's still milled into the front of the riser. If you're wanting to pick up a Picatinny sight to put on this bow, there's getting to be quite a few more options out there to stay with that integrated system they've built there. It saves about 4 ounces on the setup when you go to that Picatinny setup. It just makes the sight a little bit lighter, and like I said, there's getting to be several more options out there, not only from Hoyt, but lots of other manufacturers as well, if you want a little variety in what kind of sight you can use that inline system for. Also with that sight mounting, if you are running their Garmin sight, so Hoyt has a contract with Garmin to make a Hoyt specific Garmin Pro, and you can mount that on the pick rail sight up front, but they've also put in some milling for your cable run. Now if you've messed with the new Garmin sights, there's a trigger that goes down to your handle and right around your grip, wherever you want to mount that at. Running that cable in the past, you had to be somewhat creative to get it down to where it needed to be. They put some milled holes into the riser that allows you some direct cable running slots to get that directly down to your grip quickly and easily, but also keeping it nice and clean looking and out of the way of the rest of your grip. From there, they kept most of their same setup. So you've still got the SL sidebar mount to keep the option there of putting your sidebar directly on the riser rather than have the extra quick disconnect hookups, saving you some weight, also getting the weight lower on the riser for a better center of gravity and better balance. You can still use their super light quiver system, which was nice. It was adjustable, brought everything in nice and tight. So if you're using their integrate system and all that stuff, you're going to be able to bring the quiver in nice and tight with their super light quiver system. You can still add the go sticks down to your lower stabilizer there to give you an automatic kickstand built into the bow. Now, some of the changes that they did make in this new riser is the riser is stiffer and they gave it an increased width. So it's a little bit wider at the top. That allowed them to put these extra slots in there. It did add a little bit of weight to the bow, but overall it gave it a stiffer riser, which is going to create more accurate shots and more repeatability. Now, some of the advertised specs that Hoyt is throwing out there because of that stiffer riser is they are showing 31% less hand shock. They're showing a 59% reduction in resonation in the riser and 11% reduction in overall sound. So those are numbers from Hoyt. And they've got some great engineers out there that test all this stuff to give us those numbers. Obviously, the shortstop stabilizer stayed on the new setup, along with the same rubber grip that they had for the last couple years. And frankly, that's one of the nicest grips out there. Me personally, it's a grip that I like and has a good feel in your hand. Now, Hoyt obviously just has the single rest hole mount. So if you're using a conventional rest rather than their integrate system, you don't have the ability to lock down with 2 rest holes. So I would swing you towards an integrated model rest from one of the manufacturers that are making something to fit there. It just gives you a more robust platform with less option for something to move. They also still have the single string stop built into the riser. They did beef that up a little bit, making it a little sturdier in the riser so it can't come loose. They also have the offset stationary roller guard that's been on their models for several years. And then their new string dampeners, which is called the Whole Shot V2. With all that on the bow, bringing a complete package, giving a better feel and a very quiet bow for hunting. Now, Hoyt gave several color options this year, keeping with several of the colors that they've had in the past and adding a couple new ones. So in the solid colors, you can get still your black, your buckskin, and your wilderness, or you can get the new bourbon that they came out with. It's a little darker, deeper color than the buckskin. Really great look on this bow. Now, if you want to stay with traditional camos, you've got your Realtree Edge. You can still get QU Verde 2. You can get Subalpine or Elevated 2 in this. And then the new camo add-on is the Origin Raptor Highland. Obviously, that's something that came with Cam Hanes, but you can get just a basic camo in the Origin Raptor Highlands, or you can get the Keep Hammering model that comes in an Origin camo as well as a blackout with the Cam Hanes logos on the bow. The other special option you get is still the Bone Collector Edition, and you can get that in your Realtree Edge or black with the Bone Collector logos. So lots of color options there for you in the new 2023 lineup to really customize this bow and make it look great. Now, Hoyt has gone up a little bit in price. Their MAP price on this bow is going to be $1249 on the new 31, bringing it in right around where most people are following for this year. Some are hitting at $11.99, some at $12.99. Hoyt comes in right in the middle of those price points at $12.49 on the 31, making it a nice package to put together a bow for you in the same flagship model price point as everyone else. From here, we're going to step back to the lane and shoot this bow over the chronograph, give you a breakdown on the speeds as we normally do, all the way from 350 out to a 500 grain arrow. And we will, as always, be shooting this bow on 29-inch draw length at 70 pounds with 85% let off. So we've stepped back here to the lane with the new VTM 31, and we're going to take some shots over the chrono, give you a breakdown of the numbers as it shoots with a 350 grain arrow all the way out to 500. As usual, we're going to be shooting this bow on 29-inch draw length, 70 pounds, 85% let off, and then giving you the breakdown on all the numbers. We're going to start with our 400 grain arrow as we usually do. So let's take some shots out of the new VTM 31 and see what kind of numbers it posts up. All right, so with a 400 grain arrow, we got 303. So breaking that 300 foot per second mark with this setup. So really nice numbers that Hoyt's putting up with the new VTM 31. Now, as we backed it back down to a 350 grain arrow, we got 320 feet per second. And then as we come back up again, 303, then with a 450 grain arrow, we got 286. With a 500 grain arrow, we got 274 feet per second. So really nice numbers coming out of this 31, getting great speeds, just an overall great shooting bow. So from there, as far as a noise rating, what we got was 94.9. So falling right there in the middle of what we typically see out of most bows. Overall, a nice quiet hunting bow. So from there, just the feel of this bow, still got the same great grip that they had last year. Probably one of my favorite grips on the market. Just sits really well in your hand, has a good feel to it. I like that little extra cutout for your fingers. Just sits really well right down the center of the groove of your hand, making your shot a little easier, a little more torque free. Now from there, the draw cycle on this bow, again, they kept with the same HBX Pro cams, so very similar to last year, still extremely smooth. Got a great feel, that extra inch longer to axle. May give it a little bit more forgiveness. Probably not something that most of us are going to notice, but overall still has an extremely smooth draw, great feel throughout the draw cycle. And then the deadness in the hand afterwards, still extremely dead, just like most bows out there on the market are today. This bow is right there in the top with just an overall exceptional dead in the hand feel, great draw cycle, and then putting up some really nice speeds. So out of the new VTM 31, Hoyt didn't make a whole lot of changes for this year, but still an exceptional platform here. And if you're looking for a new Hoyt, then give us a call here at Mike's Archery and we'll get you in one of the new VTMs.